If I'd told you in 2021 that number 4 pick Nick Daicos would become a better player than top draft pick Jason Horne-Francis, you'd probably think I was joking. But it's been 3 years since then, and Daicos is currently one of the top Brownlow favourites for 2024, after coming third in 2023. So, how did it all happen? Let's begin where it all started, before he was even drafted to the AFL. In 2021, Daicos was captain of the Oakley Chargers in the NAB League. Across 5 matches, the 18-year-old averaged elite numbers of over 35 disposals and 2 goals a game. Scouts were quick to notice him, not just because he was the son of 549-goal Hall of Famer Peter Daicos, but also because of his consistency and skillfulness, being able to single-handedly influence the game's tempo with ball in hand. Also, his brother Josh having a pretty decent 2020 season certainly helped him garner attention from the Pies recruiting team. Gold Coast actually tried to take Nick with pick 4, probably because he played school footy and won a premiership with the Suns' fellow high draft picks in Matt Rowell and Noah Anderson. But after the Pies used their father-son selection for Daicos, his destination was settled. And so, Nick Daicos chose to wear the number 35 as his Guernsey number, the same as his father. Josh hadn't picked the number and chose 26 instead, because he wanted to forge his own path and not be solely remembered as Peter Daicos' son. Nick Daicos debuted against St Kilda in round 1 of 2022. On the day, Daicos picked up 27 disposals, 5 marks and 4 tackles, making him one of Collingwood's best players for the match. Not bad for a first game. Round 2 saw another 20-plus possession game from Daicos versus Adelaide, while he kicked his first goal in the Pies' round 3 loss to the Cats. The young midfielder was now in talks for the Rising Star Award, winning his nomination with a 26 disposal performance in that match. 15 rounds later, in another game against the Crows, Daicos gathered a career-high 40 disposals and kicked 3 goals, cementing his 2022 season as one of the best rookie seasons we've seen in a long time. Collingwood finished 4th on the ladder, leading Daicos to his first ever final series. Up first, the Pies had Geelong at the G, and while 25 disposals and 3 tackles would be a great performance for most midfielders, it was an underperformance for Nick's standards. This resulted in the Cats taking out a nail-biting 6-point win. He had similar numbers in the 20-point semi-final win over Fremantle, and that showed that Daicos had a bit of work to do when it came to handling the pressure of big finals. The next week saw the Pies face Sydney at the SCG, with the winner of the prelim moving through to the grand final. Now, Collingwood had a slow start, but a late 4th quarter surge saw them get within 2 points. That surge was led by Nick Daicos, whose 23 disposals and 3rd quarter goal inspired the huge comeback. But Sydney rushed the ball through in the final seconds, claiming the 1-point win. Just devastating for the Pies and Daicos. But this failure would be more important for the Pies than they could have ever imagined. Daicos equalled the all-time Rising Star votes record with 60 that year, the maximum amount, tying with Daniel Rich, Dan Hannebery and Jared Rivers. The next season was 2023, and this year, Daicos wasn't messing around. While he averaged 25 possessions in 2022, this crept up to 31 in his second AFL season. He kicked things off with a 35 disposal match against the reigning premiers, before 2 goals against a strong Port Adelaide side. By this point, pretty much every AFL fan knew who Nick Daicos was, but if they didn't, they were about to. Because Collingwood played Essendon in round 6 for the Anzac Day clash, a game known for making unknown players into cult heroes. Just ask Jack Ginnivan, whose 5 goals in 2022 made him the talk of the footy world. Anyways, Daicos charged Collingwood to a 13-point comeback win, with 40 disposals and 2 goals, for a monster 140 fantasy points. That performance earned him the 2023 Anzac Medal. At this point, contract talks started between him and Collingwood. The club wanted him for 4 more years, and that's exactly what they got, with his brother Josh also agreeing to a 5-year contract extension. Nick Daicos is now earning more than $1 million a year, some seasons, per his contract. However, tragedy would strike later on in the season. In round 21, the Pies lost to Hawthorn by 32 points. How did Daicos play? He had only 5 disposals and 3 tackles, with 60% time on the ground. His first game with less than 10 disposals, and only his third game with less than 20. Hawks tagger Finn McGuinness was just way too good. But in the second half of that game, Daicos was hit with a hard bump by defender James Blank, and that sidelined him for the rest of the game. Daicos' 2023 finals campaign was in strife. He was out for the remainder of the season. The AFL Coaches Association Best Young Player Award went to Daicos, who polled 129 votes, while the young midfielder came third for the overall Coaches Award, only losing to Zach Butters and Marcus Bontempelli. After his first All-Australian selection, Daicos returned for the Pies' preliminary final against GWS, helping them to a nerve-wracking 1-point win at the MCG, with 28 disposals and 6 clearances. Brownlow medal night followed very soon after, and the 20-year-old polled very highly, as was expected. He went in as equal heavy favourite alongside Marcus Bontempelli, and that would have been outright favourite if only it wasn't for that injury. In the end, Lachie Neale, who was at $15 odds to win, somehow pulled it off. That questionable 20 disposal 3 vote match against the Giants certainly helped. 1 week later, the 2023 Grand Final arrived, the Young Stars' first Grand Final, and based on his performances in previous finals, he was about to dominate, and that's exactly what happened. 3 minutes into the match, he won himself a free kick for a high tackle right in front of goal, and slotted the set shot. Daicos ended the day with 29 disposals, an important goal, and 4 tackles. But most importantly, he controlled the tempo of the game, which was so crucial in Collingwood's 4-point premiership win. 2024 was going to be an incredibly hard year for Nick Daicos. How could he possibly top 2023? Well, how about starting the year with a 34 disposal, 1 goal, 10 clearance performance in a disappointing 32-point loss to the Giants at Giants Stadium. Then, backing that up the following week with 37 disposals, a goal, and 7 clearances in a 33-point loss to the Swans. The Pies were a little bit shaky, but it wasn't affecting Daicos' output. Eventually, as Collingwood started to pick up a few more wins, Daicos' numbers went slightly down, but as long as the team was playing better and winning, I don't think it bothered him too much. A huge match was coming up in round 8 between Collingwood and Carlton at the G. With 2 minutes remaining, Daicos already had 31 disposals and a goal, but that wasn't enough for him. With scores level at 79 apiece, Daicos sprinted towards the dribbling ground ball, picked it up cleanly, and snapped through the match winner from a relatively tight angle. Then, 6 weeks later, he was instrumental in Collingwood's infamous 54-point comeback against the Kangaroos. Earlier in round 12, he even became the fastest player ever to record 30 disposals in a match against all 17 of the other clubs. Do you think Nick Daicos will win the Brownlow medal this season? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe if you liked this video.